Hello and welcome back to another predictions video for Game Week 3 this time of the Premier League season. In this video we're going to take a quick look at how I got on last week and then head straight into this week's predictions. Of course, as always, let me know your predictions for the weekend in the comment section down below. So last week we did a bit better than the first game week. We managed to get 2 correct scores and 5 correct results. So I guessed Liverpool-Burnley completely correctly. It was 2-0 to Liverpool, and Chelsea and Arsenal. Chelsea 2-0 victory. And then elsewhere, a Man City, Brighton and Tottenham win is what I predicted. Got them all right. Not great, but still an improvement on Game Week 1, where I only got 5 correct results and 0 correct scores. Let's now head into the predictions for this week, the final game week before an international break. And we start things off at 12:30 on Saturday with Manchester City against Arsenal. Quite a big game for the Saturday lunchtime kickoff this weekend. Now, City got their first points of the season with a very convincing 5-0 home victory over Norwich last Saturday, whereas Arsenal's torrid time continued with that previously mentioned 2-0 defeat at home to Chelsea last Sunday. Arsenal did, however, pick up their first win and score their first goals of the season in a 6-0 away win to West Bromwich Albion in the Carabao Cup on Wednesday, with Aubameyang making his first start of the season and Lacazette making his first appearance of the season. Aubameyang scoring a hat-trick and getting an assist, and Lacazette scoring 1. Manchester City, though, do have a great recent record against Arsenal. They're unbeaten in the last 6 home matches against them, last losing at home in a 2-0 Premier League defeat in January 2015. City won both league matches between these teams last season by a 1-0 scoreline and won their League Cup meeting 4-1. Arsenal have lost each of the last 8 Premier League meetings with Manchester City. This is their joint longest run of consecutive defeats against a specific opponent in their league history. They also have lost 8 in a row against Leeds between 1973 and 1976. City have won their last 2 Premier League home matches by a 5-0 scoreline. In the competition's history, only City themselves back in October 2017 and Chelsea in August 2010 have won 3 consecutive home fixtures by 5 goals or more. Raheem Sterling has a pretty decent record against Arsenal. He's been involved in 7 goals in his last 6 Premier League appearances against them, with 5 goals and 2 assists, netting in each of his last 4 against the Gunners, including the only goal in both meetings last time out. Arsenal have been defeated in their last 6 matches against reigning Premier League champions, conceding exactly 3 goals in each of the last 5. Some positive news for Arsenal is that Martin Odegaard could be in line to make his second league debut for the Gunners after signing permanently from Real Madrid following a successful loan spell at the Emirates last season, where he played 20, scored 2 and assisted 2. He played in the game against West Brom midweek as well, and he got an assist in that one and could have arguably scored a goal or 2. But I don't think he's going to have a good time on Saturday. I think Manchester City are going to comfortably win this one. 3-1 is what I've got for Manchester City to win. I could see Arsenal grabbing a consolation goal, especially if Aubameyang or Lacazette make an appearance, but I think Man City are going to be too strong for Arsenal. Next up, we move on to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we start off at Villa Park with Aston Villa against Brentford. Now, Villa picked up their first points of the season with a 2-0 victory over Newcastle at home last weekend, whereas Brentford could only manage a goalless draw against Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park to follow up on their opening day victory over Arsenal. Both sides were successful midweek in the second round of the Carabao Cup, with big wins to get them through to the 3rd round, despite fielding heavily changed lineups. Aston Villa beating Barrow 6-0, and Brentford came from a goal down to beat Forest Green 3-1. Now, this is a pretty rare meeting in English football altogether. This will be just the 15th meeting between these 2 sides, but Aston Villa have a pretty poor record against Brentford. They last beat them in an FA Cup tie all the way back in February 1953. Brentford, on the other hand, are unbeaten in their last 6 league meetings with Aston Villa. They've won 3, drawn 3. These were all in the Championship between 2016 and 2019. However, all 3 of their away matches in that run finished level, with Brentford never winning at Villa Park in all competitions. They've drawn 5 and lost 2. Brentford are yet to concede a Premier League goal this season. There's only 2 promoted sides that have kept clean sheets in their opening 3 matches previously. That was Charlton Athletic back in 1998 and Huddersfield Town in 2017. Aston Villa have been pretty clinical so far this season. They've scored 4 goals from just 4 shots on target in the Premier League, the only side with such a 100% record in the competition so far this season. Their new striker Danny Ings has scored in his first 2 Premier League matches for Aston Villa, and the last Villa player to do that was Dalian Atkinson all the way back in 1992. But I think Villa are going to win this one. I think they'll win 2-1. I think they're going to hand Brentford their first Premier League defeat. And I imagine Danny Ings will continue his scoring run after he scored that great overhead kick goal last weekend. So a Villa victory. Sorry, Brentford fans. Then we have Brighton against Everton. Now, Brighton made it 2 wins from 2 with victory over Watford last Saturday following their opening day win over Burnley, whereas Everton could only manage a 2-2 draw away to Leeds. In the Carabao Cup on Tuesday, Brighton beat Cardiff 2-0 after making 11 changes, and Everton beat Huddersfield 2-1 after making 9 changes, and despite being down to 10 men for the last half an hour of the game after Moise Kean was sent off. Brighton last defeated Everton in a 3-2 Premier League win in October 2019, a 90th minute Lucas Digne own goal sealing the points for the Seagulls in that one. Everton are unbeaten in their last 3 meetings between the two sides, however, winning 2 and drawing 1. That draw was in this fixture last season and it ended goalless. Everton target and current Brighton striker Neal Maupay has netted in both of Brighton's Premier League matches this season. He could become the first player to score in each of their first 3 league fixtures in a single campaign since Nicky Forster in 2008-2009 season. If Brighton defeat Everton, it would be only the second time they've recorded 3 consecutive Premier League victories ever, previously doing so in October 2018. And Everton look like they've been very keen to get shots on goal so far this season. Only Liverpool and West Ham have had more shots on target than Everton's 14 in the opening 2 Premier League matches this season. So far, the Toffees are averaging 7 shots on target per match compared to just 3.9 last season. Since joining Everton in 2018, Richarlison has been involved in more Premier League goals for the Toffees than any other player, with 42 involvements. That's 34 goals and 8 assists. In Everton's last game against Leeds, no Everton player had more shots or created more chances than the Brazilian. He had 5 shots and 3 chances, and I think he's going to help them on their way to giving Brighton their first defeat of the season. I think Everton are going to win 3-1 away to Brighton on Saturday, despite Brighton's 100% start to the season. I think it's going to be a comfortable one for Everton, and at least it should be on paper. Next up, we have one of the Alan Shearer derbies. It's Newcastle against Southampton, of course, 2 former clubs of Alan Shearer. And both teams are still looking for their first wins of the season. Southampton getting quite close last weekend when they picked up their first point of the season at home to Manchester United. But Newcastle are still without a point so far this season after defeats to West Ham and Aston Villa. Things got even worse for Newcastle midweek when they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup on penalties after playing out a 0-0 draw with Burnley, where arguably they should have won in normal time if it wasn't for Wayne Hennessy performing miracles in the Burnley goal. Whereas Southampton absolutely smashed Newport County 8-0 to give them their largest away win in their entire 135-year history. Newcastle have lost only one of their last 16 Premier League home matches against Southampton, winning 12 and drawing 3, winning the last 4 against the Saints at St James's Park. Newcastle won this fixture 3-2 last season, with the winner coming from Miguel Almiron. Only Trent Alexander-Arnold has created more chances in the opening 2 Premier League matches this season than Newcastle's Matt Ritchie. He's created 9 chances. He created 4 chances against West Ham and 5 against Aston Villa. So it's not like Newcastle aren't trying to get a win. Southampton's Theo Walcott has been involved in more Premier League goals against Newcastle than he has any other side in the competition, with 5 goals and 6 assists. 5 of these goal involvements came in a single match all the way back in December 2012 when he got 3 goals and 2 assists. Newcastle fans will be hoping there's no repeat of that. The Saints have lost 11 of their last 12 Premier League matches on the road, including each of the last 6. They last lost 7 consecutive away league matches between November 2004 and February 2005, in the season that they were relegated from the Premier League. And there's been a new signing at Southampton. 24-year-old Brazilian centre-back Lianco has been brought in this week and could be in line for his debut after signing a 4-year deal from Torino this past week. And I don't think, if he does make his debut, I don't think it's going to be a happy one for him. I think Newcastle are going to win 1-0 at home to Southampton. They've got such a good record against Southampton at home that I can't see anything other than a narrow win for Newcastle in this one. Add to it the fact that Matt Ritchie has been so creative, and Newcastle, they've played quite well in what I've seen. I didn't see the Villa game. I saw the West Ham game and I thought they played well. They just got outclassed by a better side. I think Newcastle and Southampton are pretty level, so Newcastle just to edge it. Next, we have Norwich against Leicester, another 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Now, Norwich have had about as good an opening 2 games this season as you would have expected, losing by an aggregate of 7-0 to Liverpool, and Man City, of course, losing 5-0 to Man City last weekend. Whereas Leicester picked up their first defeat of the season by 4-1 away to West Ham on Monday. Norwich were victorious for the first time this season on Tuesday by beating Bournemouth 6-0 in the second round of the Carabao Cup, whereas Leicester, of course, don't enter until the next round, so had the midweek off. The last meeting between these two was won by Norwich City thanks to a Jamal Lewis goal in a 1-0 victory back in February 2020. Prior to that victory, Norwich hadn't won in their last 4 meetings, with the Foxes winning 3 and drawing 1. The last victory Leicester had at Carrow Road was a 2-1 Premier League win back in October 2015, with Jeffrey Schlupp grabbing what turned out to be the winning goal. Jamie Vardy is in pretty poor form for him at the moment. He's not scored in his last 11 Premier League away matches since scoring for Leicester against Spurs in December 2020. It's his longest run without a goal away from home since his first 12 away appearances in the competition back in September 2014 through to March 2015. Norwich have been beaten in their last 12 Premier League matches, scoring once and conceding 32 goals across these defeats. In top flight history, only Sunderland with 20 in a row between 2003 and 2005, and Manchester United with 14 in a row all the way back in 1930 have had longer losing runs. Leicester, on the other hand, have lost 4 of their last 6 Premier League matches, as many as they had in their previous 21 in the competition. However, the Foxes have won their last 5 meetings with sides in the relegation zone by an aggregate score of 13-1. And there's an opportunity for a debut in this game too, with Norwich's new loanee from Manchester United, left-back Brandon Williams, in line to make his first start for the Canaries in this game. But I think it'll be a disappointing start for him, because I think Leicester are going to get back on form and absolutely smash Norwich. I think it's going to be a 3-0 victory for Leicester. The misery is going to continue for Norwich. They've had such a difficult start to the season in terms of who they've had to face. Liverpool, Man City and Leicester is a very hard first 3 games. And I think Vardy's finally going to get his goals total off the ground away from home in this one and help Leicester to a big victory. And the final 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday is West Ham against Crystal Palace. West Ham have a 100% record so far this season, scoring 4 goals in both league games against Newcastle and Leicester, whereas Palace are still searching for their first win of the season after losing the opening game against Chelsea and drawing with Brentford last week. West Ham had a bye for the second round of the Carabao Cup because of their European exploits, but Palace narrowly lost their cup game away to fellow Premier League side Watford by 1-0, despite dominating the game with 66% possession. West Ham last beat Crystal Palace at the London Stadium in a 3-2 Premier League win in December 2018, with Felipe Anderson grabbing the winner. And Palace are unbeaten in their last 2 away games to West Ham, winning 1 and drawing 1. West Ham United are looking to win each of their opening 3 matches of a Premier League campaign for the very first time. And Mikel Antonio will be a very happy man, as he became West Ham's all-time highest goal scorer in the Premier League last time out, netting his 48th and 49th goals. The last player to reach 50 top-flight goals for the Hammers was Tony Cottee, who reached the milestone back in 1985-86 season. After losing their first 2 Premier League matches at West Ham, Crystal Palace have lost only 2 of their subsequent 8 visits to the Hammers in the competition, winning 3 and drawing 3. But Palace are winless in their last 10 Premier League London derbies, drawing 5 and losing 5, scoring only 7 goals and conceding 19 in these matches. And I think that run of losing in London derbies for Palace is going to continue with a 3-0 victory for West Ham on Saturday. West Ham have been unbelievable so far this season. I expect that to continue against the Palace side, who are going to struggle for goals this season unless they sign another forward. Now we head on to the Saturday tea time kickoff, and it is Liverpool against Chelsea, live on Sky Sports at 5:30. Now both teams coming to this one with a 100% record so far this season, with Liverpool probably having the better fixtures. They've already beaten Norwich and Burnley, whereas Chelsea have defeated Crystal Palace, but they've also had to face Arsenal, which I guess these days isn't too much of a tough task. Now, if Diogo Jota scores against Chelsea, he would become the 4th player to score in each of Liverpool's first 3 matches of a Premier League campaign, joining Robbie Fowler, Daniel Sturridge and Sadio Mane. Liverpool have lost only 2 of their last 13 Premier League meetings with Chelsea, winning 6 and drawing 5, though one of those defeats was in the most recent contest in March, which Chelsea won 1-0 thanks to a Mason Mount goal. Chelsea have a decent time of it historically, though, away from home at Liverpool. Only Manchester United have won more Premier League away matches than Chelsea's 7 against the Reds. After netting 4 goals in his first 4 Premier League appearances against Liverpool, Chelsea striker Romelu Lukaku has scored in only 1 of his last 11 against the Reds. And I think this game is going to be a draw, but I don't think it's going to be a boring draw. I think it's going to be 2-2. I can't separate the two sides. I think they're both going to be there or thereabouts at the top of the table come the end of the season, but I think it's just going to be an entertaining, high-scoring draw. Now we move on to Sunday's first game, which is Burnley versus Leeds, which is live on Sky Sports at 2 p.m. Now, Burnley are without a win so far this season after defeat to Liverpool last Saturday and to Brighton on the opening weekend. Leeds, however, picked up their first point of the campaign in that 2-2 draw with Everton last Saturday following their opening weekend battering at the hands of Manchester United. Burnley be happy that they made it to the third round of the Carabao Cup, as previously mentioned, beating Newcastle 4-3 on penalties midweek, whereas Leeds had a bit of an easier time of it, beating Crewe Alexandra 3-0 thanks to 3 very late goals from Phillips and Harrison. Leeds have won their last 3 matches against Burnley, winning last season's 2 matches by an aggregate scoreline of 5-0. Now, while Chris Wood is Burnley's all-time top scorer in the Premier League with 46 goals, he's only scored once in 8 league appearances against his former club, Leeds United, and he's goalless in his last 5 against them. And if he's not scoring, I'm not sure where else the goals are going to come from, possibly Ashley Barnes. Burnley have won 3 of the last 4 home league games against Leeds, losing 1, though that 1 defeat did come in this exact fixture last season in a 4-0 defeat. Leeds have not drawn a game away from home in the Premier League since February 2004. In 20 away games in the competition under current manager Marcelo Bielsa, they've won 10 and lost the other 10. Since Rafinha made his first Premier League start for Leeds in November 2020, no player has made more assists in the competition than the Brazilians, 9, the joint most in this period, along with Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes. And I think Leeds are going to be the happier of the two sides come 4 o'clock on Sunday, as I think they're going to win 2-0 at Burnley. I say it every week and I'll continue to say it, but Burnley are going to really struggle this season. I know they've possibly signed Maxwell Cornet from Lyon, the left back, but I just don't think that's going to be enough for them, and I think Leeds will have more than enough to come away with 3 points from their visit to Turf Moor on Sunday. The second Sunday game is Tottenham against Watford. This one rearranged because of Tottenham's involvement in the Europa Conference League. So this is a 2 p.m. kickoff, but it's not televised on Sunday. And Tottenham continued their winning start to the season with a 1-0 win away to Wolves last Sunday, whereas Watford couldn't capitalise on their opening day victory over Aston Villa as they went down 2-0 away to Brighton. As previously mentioned, Spurs weren't involved in the Carabao Cup midweek due to their participation in the Europa Conference League on Thursday, where they beat Pacos de Ferreira 3-0 after losing the first leg on aggregate. As previously mentioned as well, Watford won their Carabao Cup game 1-0 against fellow Premier League side Crystal Palace thanks to a goal from debutant Ashley Fletcher. The Spurs are unbeaten in their last 4 games in all competitions against Watford, winning 2 and drawing 2. Their last victory was in January 2019, where 2 late goals from Son and Llorente turned the game around for them. Watford last beat Spurs in a Premier League game in September 2018, with Craig Cathcart getting the winner in a 2-1 win. The last time Watford beat Spurs at Spurs was all the way back in October 1994. In a League Cup second round match which ended 3-2. One major positive for Spurs this week was Harry Kane's confirmation that he will remain a Spurs player until January at least. And Nuno Espirito Santo could be the first Spurs manager to win his first 3 top flight matches in charge. Now, Son Heung-min has scored 5 goals in 9 Premier League appearances against Watford. Only against Southampton has he scored more in the competition with 9 strikes. Watford haven't had a great time of it away from home. They've lost each of their last 7 Premier League away matches, failing to score on 5 occasions in that run. And after winning their first 3 away league matches at Spurs between 1982 and 1985, Watford have since been defeated in 9 of their last 10 such visits with 1 draw. And I think Tottenham are going to win 2-0 on Sunday. I think Spurs will outclass Watford, and with Harry Kane scoring 2 goals midweek, I could see him possibly getting on the score sheet, most likely from the bench. And the final game of Game Week 3 in the Premier League is Wolves against Manchester United, the 4:30 kickoff on Sunday on Sky Sports. Now, Wolves are yet to score any points so far this season after narrowly losing 1-0 to Leicester on the opening day and 1-0 to Spurs last Sunday. Manchester United, on the other hand, failed to make it 2 wins from 2 with their 1-1 draw with Southampton last Sunday. In midweek, Wolves comfortably beat Nottingham Forest 4-0 in the Carabao Cup, whereas Manchester United had a bye for this round of the competition due to their Champions League qualification last season. Wolves' last victory over United was a 2-1 win back in April 2019 with a goal from Jota and an own goal from Chris Smalling turning the game around for Wolves. Man United are, however, unbeaten in their last 6 matches against Wolves in all competitions, winning 3 and drawing 3. United won both league games last season, winning this fixture 2-1 thanks to goals from Anthony Elanga and Juan Mata. United are unbeaten in the last 27 Premier League away matches, winning 17 and drawing 10. They will set a new record for the longest unbeaten away run in English Football League history if they avoid defeat. However, Wolves have not lost consecutive home league matches against Manchester United since December 1967. Mason Greenwood could become just the second teenager to score in his team's opening 3 matches of a Premier League campaign after Robbie Fowler for Liverpool in 1994-95 season. Wolves are on a pretty torrid run at the moment. They've lost each of their last 5 Premier League matches, scoring just once, and I think that run is going to continue with a 2-1 victory for the away side. United to win 2-1 on Sunday. I think they're going to get back to winning ways. Consistency was a problem for them last season. It looks like it's going to be a problem for them this season, but I would imagine they're going to be fired up to win after that disappointing 1-1 draw last weekend against Southampton. So those are my predictions. Please let me know yours, as I said before, in the comment section down below, and keep an eye on the channel for this week's fantasy football video. But that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel to get all my content when it comes out, hit the notification bell to stay notified, and I'll see you next time.